The science behind skin is always evolving, and medical breakthroughs for skin disease can lead to life-changing results for patients. But it can mean years of research to get to that point. The British Skin Foundation is the only UK charity to fund research for all types of skin diseases. One recipient of that research funding is Dr Christos Tziotzios, who joins me now. Thank you so much for being here. Tell us about your recent work.
So my main focus has been frontal fibrosing alopecia, which is also known as FFA. FFA is an inflammatory skin condition which causes inflammation, scarring and irreversible hair loss, predominantly in women of the postmenopausal age. It very rarely affects men. There has been a dramatic increase in the incidence and prevalence of the condition since it was first reported in the 1990s, which has led scientists and clinicians to believe that genetic and potentially environmental factors have played a role. During my NIHR-funded PhD work, I undertook a large genetic study involving over 1,000 women with FFA, which concluded that the condition is very largely genetic and provided some clues that there may be environmental element to the pathogenesis of the disorder. The British Skin Foundation allowed me to follow up on some of those exciting findings by taking further research in subsequent years.
Talk to me about the outcomes of your research and how it's going to benefit patients.
So we have really understood the biological pathways that underpin frontal fibrosing alopecia in both men and women, actually. And by doing so, we now know what molecular targets are crucial from a treatment perspective. We have therefore been able to repurpose some of the existing drugs, and we're now looking at ways to proceed with our research into more advanced therapies.
What role does the British Skin Foundation play in the dermatological community?
The British Skin Foundation plays a massively important role, simply because the research into many of those skin conditions is not very high in the agenda of research councils and commercial sponsors. In my case, the British Skin Foundation Young Investigator Award really allowed me to follow up on some of the exciting findings from my PhD work, which then really enabled me to be successful in subsequent substantial grant application, which I currently hold.
What are your hopes then for the future for research in dermatology?
So I really hope that we turn our focus on the neglected dermatological conditions that have not been adequately researched so far. And there are many examples of those. There are many scarring alopecias, non-scarring alopecias, and some other inflammatory skin conditions, for example, lichen planus, lichen sclerosus, for which we do not have any specifically indicated treatments. So I really hope that there will be more research into those.
Just in terms of the British Skin Foundation and the funding, how crucial has that funding been in terms of your research?
In my case, the funding was awarded the most critical point in my career. Just before the COVID pandemic and the lockdowns, I really needed that extra bit of support to follow up on some exciting findings, produce more research outputs, and then apply for a more substantial research grant, which I did. And I wouldn't have been successful in my Medical Research Council application for my current drug without the help from the BSF.
That's fantastic. Dr Christos Tziotzios, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.